Hello, everyone, and welcome to this uh, new session. I hope everyone is doing good. Is everyone okay? Okay, that's good. Um, we are starting off today very few, and well, I hope that as we move on, the others are going to join us as usual. Um, did everybody have the receive a copy of the case? Hello, Mohammed and Asia. Rahul, you didn't. Um, this case was sent yesterday. Okay, Francis got it. What about Asil? What about Muhammad? Did you get it? Okay, without much ado, um, Francis, probably you're the only one who got it, and I suppose you went through it. The case is very, very short. Of course, there is a B part, and then there is a C part. Um, we're going to look at all of that as we move on. But um, can we have a kind of a debrief of the case? Anyone who went through the case, what is it talking about? What's going on in the case? Just something brief to keep everybody on the same. Yeah, just to keep everybody on the same wavelength. Yeah, I sent the A part because the B part. If I gave you the B part, you're going to know what's happening, and it's not going to be um, very good for the skills we're trying to develop here. We're trying to develop critical thinking. You need to be able to act before, because as a manager, you do things, you don't always see what you do. You make decisions and then you wait and see the outcome. So that is exactly what we're doing in the case studies. We all learn how to make decisions and then see how what the outcome is going to look like. Sometimes we make decisions, we know what's going to happen because we've seen how it's going to happen, and like what we're doing here, we're trying to learn, different ways to be able to address uh, similar issues. So, but let's just go back to the debrief. Can anyone give us a kind of a debrief? What is the case about? Just really very brief. So, Vid, you're welcome. Did you get a copy of the case? Okay, that's good. Did you go through it? Yeah, it's very short, just a couple of pages. Um, so I'm waiting for a kind of a summary. What is the case about? That's just what we have to start. start off with. What's the case about? What's happening? What's going on? Okay, Sivit says Roger is not disclosing the profit of a big deal with the customer to his manager Taylor. Okay, anyone has another view on that or had it understood it in a different way? Yeah, Kavya, good evening. Kavya, did you have a copy of the case? Okay, let's see what Francis says. Francis says the brief here is Mr. Tyler wants to sign out a deal with IRS and asks Roger to go through it. Okay, that's another version of it. Yeah, Razy, good evening. Did you have a copy of the case? And let's see, Kavya is trying to add a couple of things. Says, right now I am at office, so I'm join the class afterwards. Well, that's okay. You can always watch the recordings and it's still going to be great. Well, I don't know where you are, if you're in India or you're in the UAE or maybe Qatar or somewhere. Here in the UAE is the class between 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, yeah, that's it. And then after 6 p.m. there's another class, so you can always catch up with the next class. And it's not going to be me anyway. But again, you can always review the recording afterwards. Okay, let's see what Francis says. And Roger is not willing to share the firm's profit information with Tyler, okay? Okay, now that's true. There is a problem of hiding. Roger is hiding some information from, especially the profit, how much um, his firm stands to make in the deal. But he discloses the information, how much the other company stands to make. That's Blue Wicket, how much Blue Wicket stands to make. Now, but why do you think Roger doesn't want to disclose the information? Why do you think he doesn't want to disclose this information? The next question, very important, is it is your answer to this question that's going to set the ball for the next question and for the next case. If you get it right, then it's going to set the ball for the next question and for the next case. So why do you think, or why does Roger not want to disclose the information? Okay, Francis says, could be he wants to give a surprise to the management and get reward. Okay, that's a possibility. He wants to give a surprise to his manager and get a reward. What about the others? Those who read the case, what's your opinion? Why do you think Roger doesn't want to disclose the information? Okay, Sudip says because he doubts his manager is going to pass the info to blue wickets, which will affect the deal. Okay, so there is a problem of trust here. But Tyler is his boss, isn't he? So why do you think he doesn't want to disclose this information to his boss, his reporting manager? Until we figure out exactly why Roger doesn't want to disclose this information, it's going to be difficult to kind of solve this problem. If I told you there's a problem anyway, but we have to first of all figure out the different possibilities. Why do you think he works for a firm and he has a reporting manager and then he's refusing or not willing to disclose how much his firm stands to make in a deal, and it's a big deal. Okay, Francis says he may not be confident about the correct number. Okay, that's a possibility. And Reason says he doesn't want to tell anyone about the original deal. Maybe they offered some commission to him. Okay, that's a possibility. Who offered a commission? Blue Widget? Because there are two companies involved. Well, it's true that there are some other lawyers for the companies and who went through the document and stuff like that, but there are two companies, firms involved. So why on earth should Roger not disclose such an information to his reporting manager? And do you think it's a good decision on Roger's part not to disclose this information? Okay, Francis says, could be Taylor had earlier passed on similar information to other clients and hence is not willing to say. Well, but the case doesn't tell us that. You're just speculating. The case just says they've worked together as colleagues, and a few months ago, Taylor became his reporting manager. Okay, so that says it is going to save the deal for the company. It is a good move. Okay, you think it's a good move by Roger. Is that correct? Okay, let's see the different possibilities. Before I'm going to show you the B part of the case, you need to think about this, very carefully because the B part of the case is coming. You try to project why Roger did it, because I'm getting most of your reasons, and you're going to see some more information in the B part. But I want to see how you can think. Look at the situation itself. Look at everything that is present. Why should an employee refuse to disclose that information to his reporting manager? Francis says it looks he has some tie-up with Blue Widget. Okay, that's a possibility as well. So Vic says all managers are not trustworthy. Do you have a manager who is not trustworthy? Is it from a personal experience or is from some study? Or how did you get that information? Okay, from experience, okay? So you're trying to say that if you were Roger, you would do the same to your reporting manager, isn't it? Okay, but you say all managers, that's what, listen, you said all managers are not trustworthy. So some, at least you would have said some, then maybe making it. Yeah, definitely there could be a genuine reason, but that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out why on earth should he refuse to disclose the information. Of course, he has a reason, but we don't know the reason. That's why, as a manager, you're trying to figure out about what is really happening. Now, what should Taylor do? What do you think Taylor should do if you were to advise Taylor on how to handle the issue? What would you tell him to do? Would you tell him, okay, don't worry, maybe he wants a surprise like I think Francis said before, if I'm not mistaken. You want to give a big surprise to the company and then get maybe a reward or something. If you were Taylor and then your subordinate refuses to disclose such an information to you, what would you do? So what should Taylor do? Okay, Rafiq, you're welcome. You can join the conversation. Okay, Francis says later Taylor should involve other colleagues to go through the file. Why do you say that, Francis? There should be a reason why you say that. Sounds pretty okay, but what's the rationale behind it? And Sivit says, of course, once the deal is fixed, Taylor can get the info from other sources. Is that normal that in your firm, you're the manager, and then you assign one of your subordinates to work on a particular deal, and then the subordinate doesn't want to disclose information to you, and then you expect to get that information from some other source or from other sources? Is that very okay? Because what I don't understand is, why is this guy keeping the information? This is a firm. It's not a private, even if it's the family, there is a husband and there is a wife, they have to share certain information, well, to an extent, but this is a firm. So why should an individual decide to hold such an information to himself alone? That is what I don't understand. And do you find it normal? And Francis says, at the face, you cannot say anything to Roger because the deal is now going to sign off by Blue Wiggett. Blue Wiggett is going to sign the deal. Okay, that's okay. But so are you saying Taylor should do nothing? Just say, okay, since you say you don't want to disclose it, that's okay. Let's go on with the deal. Is that what you're going to do, Francis? If you were the manager anyway, put yourself in Taylor's place, and then somebody else is Roger, and this is what's happening. Are you just going to, okay, fine. He says I shouldn't worry about it. Taylor can escalate it to a different a higher level. So I think you have a point there, but I can't really place my hand on it. Maybe you start adding a little bit more information to help us grasp exactly what it is you're trying to say. Obviously, Taylor should ask the break of the profit, both the companies from Roger. Okay, if I get you right, are you saying Taylor should ask Roger to tell you what the company Blue Wiggett stands to gain and what their firm stands to gain? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay, but that is the information Roger doesn't want to disclose. Roger only wants to disclose how much Blue Wiggett stands to make, but he doesn't want to disclose the other part of the information, how much their firm stands to make. Don't you think that looks a little bit creepy? Yeah, but someone is doing it like that. But that's true. No one should do like that in a company. This is a firm. It's not somebody's private, copy mark that you can use it the way you want to use it. So this is now think we should go to the next section. You're already done with it. Now, there are a couple of things. Remember we saw ethics, business ethics, and yeah, Elaine, we saw business ethics and we looked at the different types of unethical practices. Do you think there is any unethical practice going on here? Can we relate any of these things to any do you think it's ethical what Roger is doing? So what kind of unethical practice is it? We saw 5 different types of unethical practice. That is what I've been waiting for so long. I was waiting for somebody to tell us, at least suggest that it is some unethical something, but again, it is under this category of unethical practice. I'm choosing cases that have to do with business ethics to an extent, so we can kind of um, um, strengthen our understanding of the different unethical um, ways of being unethical in a business or in an organization. So what kind of unethical practices that do you think is ill-conceived goal? Do you think it's a motivated blindness? Do you think it's indirect blindness? Do you think it's a slippery slope? Do you think it's overvaluing outcome? What kind of unethical practice? What kind of unethical category, I should say that? Francis says slippery slope. Um, yeah, let's wait and see what others have to say about it. Slippery slope. Not really. Anyway, you try to check that out again over and over. Okay, I'm going to present the B part of the case to you. So you can see what happened next after the first part is over. You try to see. So it's very short. Very short. Yeah, that's the B part. Let's just go through it very, very fast. Yeah, that's good. So we Taylor wanted to take it to a different level. Now, do you see how much their company stands to make? So why should Taylor not want to disclose this information until his boss had to, you know, force it literally out of him? Why do you think he was trying to keep this information? And he heard, look at the points very clearly. Let me try to highlight something. So he said he would not allow it to be consummated, so the deal will not be signed, and he will have to tell his boss and Blue Wiget's senior officials what has occurred. So this information made Roger to release the information. So now, can you imagine why he was keeping it in the first place? So After disclosing this information, so what do you think Taylor should do next? Now that Roger has disclosed the information and how much their company stands to make, what should Taylor do next? Roger should be punished. How? How will you punish him? Okay, Francis says Taylor now should send the documents to Blue Wicket and take up the issue with the board. Okay? And Civic says transfer to another job. Okay, transfer to another job. Did you really look at the profile of Roger in the A part of the case? Now let's discuss Roger's profile, because this is a very important part. I was waiting for us to get to this part. In a company, we take corrective actions. There are many ways we can take decisions in a situation like this. And how do we take corrective action? What are some of the things we have to consider before we make a decision? Okay, Francis says we should now issue a standard policy that such things should not happen in any of the transactions. Okay? There is something I'm waiting for someone to tell me. There's very important information in the A part of the case that I'm waiting for someone to tell me. It relates to the B part and it also relates to the C part, which we're going to see very soon. Let's look at the profile of Roger. The case says, Roger, can you see this? It says, from here I'm reading, Roger was a brilliant, if somewhat eccentric marketer. While on the marketing team, he did not have client coverage responsibility. He worked with the marketers and traders on structuring transactions. So this is important. He worked with them to structure transactions. He was renowned for his ability to develop complex products. This is the quality of him. He is renowned for his ability to develop complex products that served clients' needs and that were profitable to the firm. So he can develop complex products that gives money, that generates revenue for the firm, and also satisfy the client's needs. Now, the complexity of these deals made them hard for clients to fully understand, and harder still for them to figure out how much money the firm was making. So which means Roger literally had the whole company in his hand. He's the one who designs the product. He's the one who knows the in and out of the product. He's the one who understands what is actually happening. And it's even difficult for other people to understand. Even if he tries to explain, even if he gives you the document, it's going to be difficult for you to understand exactly what's happening. So the firm's profitability in these trades were derived from a portion of the overall return generated for the client and was extracted from bids or offers spread in the many trades it took to create the transaction. So Roger's intelligence, his smartness, his ability to do all these things is made to helping the company to generate a lot of revenue. Now, so let's take a decision. You said you'll be punished, you have to do something about it. So what do you do? Put yourself in Taylor's place. What do you do to Roger? Now he has disclosed that the firm stands to make $55 million in this deal. So how do you punish him? Okay, Civic says he should not be allowed to work in the marketing and sales. Okay, so where do you put him, Civic? You take him away from the marketing and sales, so where do you put him? Yeah, I'm waiting for the response of others. Again, before you decide, to take a look at his profile, what he's doing, what he has been doing, what he's able to do, and then you can make a decision. Now, the practice says, appoint a subordinate to work with him and set a standard structure to understand the product clearly. That's a good approach, yeah. That's one way to look at it. Again, it's going to lead to another thing, but that was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting. So now that you know what the company stands to make, what do you do next? About the deal and about Roger. What do you do to the deal and what do you do to Roger? Do you continue with the deal? Do you inform Blue Wicket what your firm stands to make? Do you talk about it to the manager? Do you fire Roger? What do you do and why do you do it? Or why are you going to do it? Okay, fantasy, you continue with the deal and inform the board about the issue. That's good. Again, good way to look at it. This again. Yeah, all the products to be designed and then to be discussed together before they are launched, before they are sent to the client. Okay, that's good. Again. Yeah, this is the time to make tough decisions. You have to try your hands on one of them. Okay, while you're thinking of what to do, I'm going to give you the C part of the case, the last part of the case, and you see what happened. And then the issue of warning, Francis added, well, that's a pretty normal thing to do. Okay, let's look at the C part of the case, very short as well. Yeah, Rafiq, there are other things. Don't read that. Read this other one. This is not copy. That is why I'm not giving it to you, this part of the case. Read this, read the case itself. This is what you're reading, Rafiq. Read this one, this part. Okay, so you see, now this is what Taylor did. Do you think what Taylor did was the right thing? Would you have done the same? To change the whole thing, you know, Blue Widget was going to get $20 million, and then the firm was going to make $55 million. But Taylor decided to change the whole thing around, giving Blue Widget $50 million, and then their firm $25 million. So do you think that was the right move? So what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of that action? Let's look at it in a very critical way anyway. Would you have done the same? I don't know. Less profit for the firm? Okay. That's true. More transparency? That's true. Francis says to gain the bigger market share through Blue Widget. That's very good. That's true. But again, we have to look at the downside as well. Well, Civic says less profit. Rafik says some kind of harassment. Rafik, I don't understand. Where is the harassment from? Is someone harassing you? Or is someone harassing anyone in the case? I don't understand. Yeah, I'm still waiting. How would we do it different? Okay, Francis says keeping the profit to a level and offer more profit to the client to stay in the business, okay? That's the reason to keep them to keep coming, you know, every year. It makes them +1, you know. It's always difficult to have new clients, but it's very easy to lose them. So every strategy that keeps old clients is always good. So that's one way to look at it from the business point of view. like what Suvit said, it's very transparent, so the companies have reason to work with you because you're trying to be as transparent as possible. But can you critique the way Taylor handled it? Do you think you would have done it the same way, or you would have done it differently? If you were Taylor, would you have given that much money? Okay, Francis says no. So how would you have done it? Suvit says no. How would you do it? Yes, this is you analyze the market, then decide the profit level. You're already in the business. You're already in that business for some time. So assuming that you already know the business, so what analysis will you do again? It's not a first-time business. It's a firm that has existed for some time, and they already know what they do, the kind of clients they work with. So why would you do an extra analysis again to decide the profit level? And Francis says I would have shared a bit more longer with the other promised business. Share it with who? With Blue Wicket or? Okay, so it says this drastic change in profit is not at all acceptable. Okay? Okay, Francis, you said it Blue Wicket. Yeah. Now, there is an issue. That's very good. You raised a very interesting point, Suvit. Now, the initial statement that I was waiting for someone to say this. The initial statement showed $20 million. Now, and the case tells us that Blue Wicket was happy about it, right? Blue Wicket was happy about it. Now, just out of the blue, just a few weeks, a few days before the whole thing goes up, you just increase their profit to $50 million. That raises a lot of eyebrows, It raises a lot of questions. How come from 20 million you jumped? How many percent is that? 250% increase. Yeah, it raises, that's a very good point you brought up, Suvit. A very, very beautiful way to analyze it. I really appreciate it. I think you got the point of the day. It is very fishy, like Francis says. Even if you were the one or the client, and then I present a document to you, says you're going to make $20 million, and then again, the same document a few hours or maybe a few days before the deal, you are making $50 million. That is 250% increase. That shows something is wrong. The 150% increase, that is altogether you're making, it's not acceptable. It raises a lot of eyebrows, it raises questions. So rather, I think Taylor helped to make Blue Wicket to go away. So what do you think she would have done? What do you think? Now put yourself in Taylor's place. What would you do, and why would you do it that way? This is where I was really waiting for us to come to the case. Blue Wiggett is comfortable with $20 million. And then you finally made Roger to tell you the truth. And Roger says your firm is going to make $55 million. So what do you do from there? This is what Taylor did. What would you do different, and why? Yeah? But Francis says first you offer some benefit to Blue Wiggett. How much are we talking about here, Francis? How much? $10% max, as most of the companies do not offer than this, do not offer anything greater than this, okay? It's like I'm seeing some form of a necessary evil that has to come into play here. I don't know if everyone is seeing the same. Some form of a necessary evil. I don't know if I'm going to call it necessary evil, but Taylor knows that this is too much for their firm to get from a deal out of Blue Wiggett. And Taylor doesn't want to spoil the relationship between their firm and Blue Wiggett, and you're suggesting that he makes a little increase, not 250%. Now, what happens? How is he going to do that? And if he does give the little increase, what is he going to do next with that money and with Roger? Okay, there are many ways to look at this particular issue. I wanted us to do some thinking about how, what are the ramifications, what are the dangers of giving Blue Wicket such an amount of money, and what are the explanations that will follow, and maybe we can keep that as an assignment, and for you to have some time to think about it, and then try to figure out what are the negative impacts on your firm if you make a 250% increase, and what would you do? What would be the impact as well if you don't make any increase? Look at the short term and the long term. And what would you do to Roger after all of this? Francis gave a good suggestion. Suvit also suggested what to do. But the others have been a little bit calm and quiet today. You can have time to review the video and then try to come up with your own way to look at the whole thing. See yourself in the position of the difficult actor in the case. In this case is Taylor. Put yourself in Taylor's shoes. This could happen to you. What do you do? Now we can take this case and bring it home. A similar thing can happen at home. Maybe your family, you and your wife and your kids, you're working on something, and that is going to be good for maybe a friend of yours, your best friend, and maybe your wife or your husband does what Roger is doing. And when you find out, what will you do? If it's your husband, maybe your husband has already prepared the document and sent to your friend, and your friend is very happy about it. Or if it's your wife already prepared the document and sent to your friend, and your friend and his wife, they're also very happy about it. And then you find out that actually it's not what you thought, or it's not what you're thinking. There is more to it. Your family stands to make more money at the expense of a friend. So what do? Are you going to give back the money the way Taylor did, or you're going to keep it that way as a secret? Now the question is, which I wanted to take along as you think about it, is what if the other company finds out sometime? Do you think Taylor's action would be good for their firm if Blue Wicket found out that this is what happened? If they get to 20% and Blue Wicket finds out sometime in the future, what do you think they are going to do? What would be their reaction? So these are the two things. Give them what Roger initially calculated, and what are the short-term and long-term effects, or what Taylor did, you think is good. So what are the short-term and long-term effects? So that is what I wanted us to look at together. Maybe when you go back home and you're done with the class. So while you're thinking about that, I just wanted to use this opportunity as well, the last couple of minutes, to wish a happy Diwali, Diwali, I think, all who are Indians, and Diwali, okay, Diwali. I'm wishing you, on behalf of IMTS, a very, very wonderful Diwali. And I don't know much about it, but okay, Deepawali, I heard about that, but I don't know much about it. Okay, sweets. Okay, you have sweets together, and okay, that's it. Well, I'm very far away. I'm not going to be able to have some of your sweets, but I hope that you have a very, very wonderful celebration. I know it's a great celebration, a great feast in India, especially for Hindu. So I wish you all the best, and my regards to your family, and you have a happy celebration.